At my sister's wedding, I was sat in the hallway while close family got tables. She laughed and said, "Guess you don't count." So I took my gift and left. She went pale. Hey everyone. Before we kick off today's video, I've got a favor to ask. We've noticed our channel isn't getting as much love lately, and subscribing is one of the easiest ways you can help us out. It's quick, free, and it means we can keep bringing you awesome content. Your support really means a lot, so let's work together to keep this channel growing. Thanks a bunch. Now, let's dive into the video. Hey, I'm Alex, 28, and up until a month ago, I would have said my family was only slightly dysfunctional. You know, the typical passive-aggressive comments during Thanksgiving, my mom obviously favoring my younger sister Emily, and my dad kind of oblivious to everything. Annoying? Yes. Unbearable? Not really. But then came Emily's wedding, and I had this epiphany: my family doesn't just have favorites, they have a main character, and surprise, it's not me. Here's some background. Emily's 25 and calling her pampered is an understatement. Picture this: at 16, she threw a fit because our parents got me a used car, and she wanted a brand new one for her 16th birthday too. And guess what? She got it. She's always been the golden child, the little princess who can do no wrong, even when she's clearly in the wrong. Meanwhile, I played the role of the older sibling who had to set a good example, basically do everything right but receive zero praise. If I scored a B on a test, my mom would be all, "Alex, you're capable of more." Meanwhile, if Emily just scraped by, it was time to break out the balloons and cake. So, going into Emily's wedding, I knew I wasn't the star of the show. Obviously, it was her big day, and I was ready to just be the supportive sibling, smile for the camera, and get through it without any drama. But what I didn't see coming was the blatant reminder of where I really stood in the family hierarchy. There were hints early on. First, I realized I wasn't part of the wedding party. Fine, not everyone includes their siblings, I get it. But then I found out Emily's childhood BFF, her coworker, and even her fiancé's cousin's girlfriend made the cut. That stung a bit, but whatever, maybe she wanted to keep it fresh. Then there was the seating chart. Now, I didn't expect to be at the head table, of course, that's for the couple and their party. But I figured I'd at least be seated with the family I've literally shared DNA and holidays with my entire life. Wrong. When I got to the venue and looked for my place card, it wasn't with my parents, aunts, or cousins. Actually, it wasn't on the seating chart at all. I had to ask around, and a wedding planner checked the list, then gave me the most awkward smile ever. "Oh, Alex, you're right here," she said, pointing. I looked and saw, no joke, my seat wasn't even in the ballroom with the chandeliers and fancy tables. It was outside, near the coat rack. At first, I laughed, thinking it was a mix-up. Maybe they ran out of chairs? But nope, that was my spot, a sad little table by the entrance with the faint smell of mothballs from people's winter coats. I turned to the planner, still grinning like an idiot, because my brain just couldn't compute. "You're kidding, right?" She looked pained. "I'm really sorry, but this is where you've been assigned." Assigned like I was getting a cell block in prison. I wasn't even angry yet, just confused. Like, was this some prank or a bizarre wedding tradition I didn't know about? I needed answers, and I knew exactly where to go. I found Emily near the bridal suite, glowing in her bridal glory, surrounded by her friends and our mom, who was fussing over her dress. When she saw me, Emily gave the most fake smile ever. "Oh hey, you made it." I held up my place card. "Yeah, quick question, why is my seat not in the reception hall?" She blinked and then actually giggled. "Oh, that? Yeah, we had to move a few things around last minute." "Right, and I just happened to get the short end of the stick?" Emily shrugged, like it was no big deal. "I mean, yeah, we had to prioritize close family at the main tables." I blinked, surprised. "I am close family." That's when my mom, pretending not to listen, chimed in with a sugary voice, "Now Alex, don't make a scene. It's Emily's special day." I shot back, "I'm not making a scene, I'm just asking why I'm literally sitting with the coats." And then, oh man, then Emily laid down the line that made this officially the worst wedding I'd ever attended. "Well, you kind of aren't really immediate family anymore." I stared at her, trying to make sense of that. "Excuse me?" She shrugged again, adjusting her veil like this was all so boring for her. "You moved out years ago, remember? So, it's been a while since I've been back, and suddenly, I'm not feeling like part of the family anymore, all because I'm not married or whatever." It's hard to put into words, but it was more than just being ticked off, it felt heavier, colder. It hit me that I wasn't considered immediate family now, simply because I dared to grow up and live my own life. Then, before I could even process this, Emily's mother-in-law showed up, someone I hadn't dealt with much before. Instantly, I could tell she was the drama-loving type, the kind who just thrives on chaos. She sauntered over with a smirk and said, "Oh, you're Alex." I was curious who that seat was for. I forced a smile, saying, "Yep, that's me, the sibling who apparently doesn't matter." She chuckled and looked me over, all fake sympathy. You know how weddings are, the most important people get the best seats. And bam, it hit me, this wasn't just Emily's doing. Her mother-in-law was getting a kick out of it. It was intentional, not a mistake in seating arrangements. Suddenly, I wasn't going to just sit there quietly. Oh no, I was going to make a statement. I took a deep breath, clutching the place cards in my hand. If they wanted to play this game, fine. They forgot I grew up with Emily. I know her secrets, all the petty stuff she says behind people's backs, and the best part? Emily couldn't stand her new mother-in-law. Pretend all she wanted, but behind closed doors? Different story. So, I turned to her mother-in-law with my best fake compassionate look. "Funny," I said casually, "Emily was stressing over seating arrangements the other day." Emily, who was acting all bored, suddenly stiffened. Her mother-in-law raised an eyebrow, and I nodded, yeah, she was really worried about certain people being too close to the head table. I paused, then added, like I was sharing a juicy tidbit, she didn't want her wedding photos ruined by, oh, what was it, Emily? I tilted my head. Right, by someone's tacky dress. The air went still, and her mother-in-law's smirk vanished. Excuse me? Emily's face went pale. Alex, she stammered, but I wasn't done. And remember how worried you were about speeches? Totally stressed about what some people might say. You said, if she gives a speech, I'll lose my mind. She'll make it all about herself. Emily's face darkened, and she made a strangled noise, reaching for my arm. Can I talk to you for a second? I played innocent. Why? I thought we were having a family chat. Since I'm not immediate family, I figured I'd at least try to join in. Her mother-in-law turned to Emily, eyes narrowing. Is this true? Emily gave a nervous laugh, shaking her head. No, of course not, Alex is just. Oh. And the bachelorette party, I exclaimed, pretending like I just remembered. You know, where Emily spent half the night complaining about you. Said she couldn't wait to stop pretending to like you because she didn't want to start her marriage with drama. That was the nail in the coffin. Her mother-in-law's jaw dropped. My mom, standing awkwardly nearby, looked horrified, while my dad stepped back, probably wishing he wasn't part of this mess. Emily's friends, the bridesmaids, exchanged wide-eyed looks, whispering among themselves. Emily, meanwhile, looked ready to explode, her mouth opening and closing without a sound. Then, her mother-in-law turned on her. You ungrateful brat, she snapped. I had to bite my tongue to stop from grinning. Oh, this was getting good. You think you can just use me? Her voice was sharp, and she was mad. After all I've done for you, all the money and favors for this wedding? She gestured around wildly, her nails flashing under the chandelier lights. And you've been trash-talking me the whole time? Emily stammered, I didn't, but her mother-in-law turned to my parents. You knew about this? You raised her to be this kind of snake? My mom looked ready to faint. Of course not, Emily would never. I couldn't help but cut in, shaking my head. Oh, please. So, there I was, fake sighing and all, because let's be honest, you raised Emily to think she's the queen of the universe, right? No surprise she treats everyone else like trash. Mom wasn't having it, her face twisted with anger. Alex, stop it, she snapped. And I'm like, why? 'Cause I'm making a scene? Funny how that's only a problem when I'm the one speaking up. No one cared when Emily literally pushed me out of the reception. By now, everyone was gossiping and staring. Even the groom, who'd been MIA, finally showed up looking confused. What's happening? He asked, clueless. And bam, I turned to him. What's happening? Your wife is a backstabber who's been trashing my family. The poor guy was floored. Wait, what? He stammered. And I pointed at Emily, who looked like she wanted to disappear. She's been talking crap about me for ages, complaining about my dress, my speech, everything. The groom turned to Emily, slowly processing all this drama. Did you really say that? He asked. Emily was all defensive, shaking her head like crazy. No, not like that, she insisted. I just scoffed. Oh, not like that? Please. And here I thought you actually cared about this family. Things exploded into a full-blown showdown. Emily and I were going at it. Mom was trying to calm everyone down, but she was failing miserably. Dad looked like he wanted to disappear into the ocean or something. The groom was just standing there, stunned, like he'd been hit with a frying pan. Meanwhile, I was sipping my champagne like it was dinner theater. Emily's voice was getting higher, and she was all dramatic, asking her hubby if he believed me over her. The poor guy was stuck, rubbing his forehead, totally overwhelmed. "I don't know what to say," he mumbled. Emily huffed, "It was taken out of context." I just raised an eyebrow. "Oh, out of context?" "Yeah, right." I mocked. "Come on, Emily, you got caught." Then Em, who was getting angrier by the second, turned to our parents. "And you guys are okay with this?" Mom looked like a fish out of water, desperately trying to say something to save her precious image. I waved her off. "Oh, give it a rest. You knew how she felt and still pretended she was the perfect daughter-in-law. All about appearances, huh?" Emily screamed, "You're ruining my wedding, Alex." I acted all dramatic. "Oh, I'm ruining it?" Didn't realize I was the one treating family like garbage. I even asked the guests, "What do you guys think? Who's to blame?" Most avoided eye contact, but one bridesmaid couldn't help but laugh. Emily was furious, hands clenched into fists. Before things got uglier, I decided enough was enough. Time to leave this circus. I sighed dramatically. "Well, this has been real fun, but I think it's time for me to go." Emily threw up her hands. "Fine, go." I just grinned. "Oh, I will." Then I saw my gift on the table, the one I spent weeks choosing. I casually walked over and grabbed it, while Emily's jaw hit the floor. "Are you taking it back?" she shrieked. I deadpanned, "Why leave it? I'm not family, right? Wouldn't want my germs to taint your perfect life." And with that, I was out of there, leaving Emily red with anger. "Red, you're such a kid," I said, shrugging while holding the box under one arm. "Maybe, but at least I'm not a fake, lying, two-faced jerk like Brad, who pretends to be nice but talks trash behind people's backs." I turned to ML, who was still fuming. "Hey Mel, good luck with this one. I'll give it a year." Mel actually laughed, and Emily started screeching. I turned on my heel and headed to the exit. The tension behind me was so thick it could be cut with a knife. People were whispering, the music had stopped, and the vibe shifted from celebratory to full-on disaster. Honestly, I loved it. As I got to the door, I took a last look at the chaos. Emily was still arguing with Mel, my parents were wishing they could disappear, and the groom looked like he was rethinking his whole life. I gave a little wave, a smug smile on my face. "Hope you enjoy your perfect wedding, sis," I said, then walked out without a glance back. I knew the damage was done, and it was so much more satisfying than I imagined. Once the doors shut behind me, I exhaled slowly and adjusted the wedding present under my arm. Petty? Maybe. Satisfying? Absolutely. I drove home in silence, letting the night cloak me while I replayed the whole scenario in my head, my sister's shrieking, my mom's panic, my dad's silence, and Mel's absolute meltdown. It was golden, but I knew the fallout was just beginning. And I was right. The next morning, my phone blew up with calls, texts, and voicemails. It was like my family suddenly remembered I existed. My mom left 7 voicemails, swinging between desperate pleas and total fury. "Alex, what were you thinking? You've humiliated your sister on her big day. Call me back now. Alex, honey, please, let's talk this out, just come over." That was the most immature, selfish thing ever. "I hope you're happy." Oh, I was, Mom, I really was. But my sister's messages were even better. "It's over between us. How could you do this? You ruined everything. I can't even look at my wedding photos because of you. You took back your gift? Seriously? What kind of person does that? I hate you. I really, really hate you." I grinned, sipping my coffee as I scrolled through them. If Emily thought a few angry texts would make me feel bad, she didn't know me at all. But the real kicker was the text from my dad. Unlike Mom and Emily, he wasn't hurling insults or demanding apologies. His message was short and simple: "Call me when you have a moment." I hesitated, but then dialed his number. Dad wasn't the type to get involved in drama, he usually let Mom and Emily handle things while he stayed in the background. The fact that he reached out meant something big was up. He picked up after the second ring. "Alan? Al, Dad." A long pause, then he sighed. "Why would you do this?" I snorted. "Wasn't my fault, they lit the fuse." Another sigh, and I thought he'd scold me, but then he let out a low, almost tired laugh. "Yeah, they kind of did." That threw me off. "Wait, you agree with me?" "I didn't say that," he replied, but his tone was softer. But I saw what happened, and I saw how your mom and sister treated you. It wasn't right. I leaned back in my chair. So, you're the only one not blaming me? Another pause. Not the only one. Turns out, things didn't just go back to normal after I left. The damage was irreversible. Mel totally lost it after I exposed Emily, chewing her out right in front of everyone, demanding to know if what I said was true. And Emily, being Emily, panicked, tried to lie, and play innocent. But apparently, Mel already had her suspicions. My little truth bomb was just the last straw. By the time the reception ended, Mel had pretty much disowned Emily, and the groom was absolutely furious. He thought Emily and his mom were tight, he had no clue she was badmouthing her. Finding out in front of everyone? Yeah, not great for a brand new marriage. According to Dad, he and Emily had a massive fight that night, huge, like reconsider the marriage huge. And my parents? Oh, they got stuck in the middle. Mom tried to do damage control, but Mel wasn't having it, saying that it was partly Mom's fault for raising a spoiled brat. So, Emily's on the outs with her family, like, major drama, complete fallout. So, I'm like, what's the deal now? Because, of course, I'm curious. Dad sighs and goes, Emily's not dealing with it too well. I couldn't help but roll my eyes, like, obviously. She's pointing fingers at me, saying if I hadn't opened my mouth, none of this mess would have happened. I chuckled, of course she thinks that. God forbid she owns up to her own crap. Dad was quiet, and then he dropped a bomb, she wants you to apologize. I legit choked on my coffee. Apologize? Seriously? She thinks that's the magic fix, like if I just take the blame, everything will be forgiven, and life will snap back to normal. I couldn't stop laughing, like, not a chance. Dad expected that reaction and then, almost whispering, said, honestly, I don't think you should apologize anyway. That really caught me off guard. He continued, I've seen what happened, and maybe it was time somebody called her out. Hearing that meant a lot to me, more than I wanted to show. So, I asked what's next, and Dad sighed again. Your mom's trying to calm things down with Em, but I doubt it'll work. Em is livid. The groom's barely speaking to her, and Emily's a total wreck. Well, serves her right. I didn't say it out loud, but I couldn't pretend I didn't feel that way. My sister had made me feel like nothing, like I didn't belong, for years. Now, she's finally dealing with the fallout of her own behavior, it was about time. Anyway, Dad just wanted to fill me in. He said Mom might try reaching out to me, but I shrugged it off, she can try, I'm not picking up. Dad chuckled, like he totally got it. And that was it. It's been a few weeks since the wedding blow-up, and I still haven't talked to my sister. She's stuck in her blame game, expecting me to swoop in and fix everything. But nah, I'm not regretting what I did one bit. Honestly, I'm kinda proud. As for the marriage? Let's just say I wouldn't be shocked if it doesn't last. So, what do you guys think? Was I too petty not to play along, or did Emily get what was coming? Hit me up, I could really use a good laugh.